Question 1. What was the significance of the Magna Carta in 1215? A. It established the principle of monarchy. B. It introduced the concept of the divine right of kings. C. It marked the beginning of the British Empire. D. It laid the foundation for limited monarchical power and protected the rights of the nobility. Answer. D. It laid the foundation for limited monarchical power and protected the rights of the nobility. The Magna Carta was significant because it established the principle that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. Question 2. Who was the first monarch of the House of Tudor? A. Henry VII. B. Henry VIII. C. Elizabeth I. D. James I. Answer. A. Henry VII. Henry VIII was the first monarch of the House of Tudor, ascending to the throne in 1485 after winning the Battle of Bosworth Field, which ended the Wars of the Roses. Question 3. Describe the main cause of the English Civil War in the 17th century. A. Religious differences. B. Economic disputes. C. Power struggle between the monarchy and parliament. D. Territorial expansion. Answer. C. Power struggle between the monarchy and parliament. The main cause of the English Civil War was the power struggle between the monarchy, which sought to assert absolute power, and parliament, which sought to limit the king's authority. Question 4. What was the purpose of the Acts of Union 1707? A. To establish the Church of England. B. To unify England and Scotland into a single kingdom, Great Britain. C. To declare independence from France. D. To introduce a common currency between England and Ireland. Answer. B. To unify England and Scotland into a single kingdom, Great Britain. The Acts of Union 1707 unified England and Scotland under a single Parliament of Great Britain, marking the formation of the United Kingdom. Question 5. Who was the Prime Minister of Britain during the Second World War? A. Neville Chamberlain. B. Winston Churchill. C. Clement Attlee. D. Margaret Thatcher. Answer. B. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill served as the Prime Minister of Britain during the Second World War and is celebrated for his leadership and oratory skills. Question 6. Explain the significance of the Battle of Britain in 1940. A. It marked the beginning of the Second World War. B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. C. It resulted in the defeat of Napoleon. D. It was the final battle of the First World War. Answer. B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was significant as it was the first major campaign to be fought entirely by air forces and marked a turning point in the Allies' favour during World War II. Question 7. What reforms did the Great Reform Act of 1832 introduce? A. Abolition of the slave trade. B. Expansion of the electoral franchise and redistribution of seats in the House of Commons. C. Establishment of the welfare state. D. Introduction of income tax. Answer. B. Expansion of the electoral franchise and redistribution of seats in the House of Commons. The Great Reform Act of 1832 reformed the British electoral system by widening the franchise and addressing the distribution of seats to more accurately reflect population changes. Question 8. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? A. Theresa May. B. Margaret Thatcher. C. Elizabeth II. D. Indira Gandhi. Answer B. Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher was the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, serving from 1979 to 1990. Question 9. What was the primary result of the Glorious Revolution of 1688? A. The establishment of the Church of England. B. The beginning of the British colonial empire. C. The replacement of James II with William and Mary, ensuring a constitutional monarchy. D. The end of the Wars of the Roses. Answer C. The replacement of James II with William and Mary, ensuring a constitutional monarchy. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 resulted in the deposition of James II and the accession of William III and Mary II to the throne, which led to the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. Question 10. Name the ship that brought the Pilgrim Fathers to America. A. The Mayflower. B. The Victory. C. The Beagle. D. The Bounty. Answer A. The Mayflower. The Mayflower was the ship that transported the Pilgrim Fathers to America in 1620, marking one of the early moments of European settlement in the New World. Question 11. Describe the role of the Commonwealth in post-colonial British history. A. A military alliance against Spain. B. A trade and economic bloc similar to the EU. C. A political union with shared governance. D. An association of countries with historical ties to Britain, promoting democracy and development. Answer D. An association of countries with historical ties to Britain, promoting democracy and development. The Commonwealth plays a role in post-colonial British history as an organisation that fosters international cooperation among countries that were formerly part of the British Empire. Question 12. What was the main outcome of the Treaty of Union in 1707 for Scotland? A. Independence from England. B. Loss of the Scottish Parliament. C. Establishment of the Church of Scotland. D. Expansion of the Scottish colonial empire. Answer B. Loss of the Scottish Parliament. The main outcome of the Treaty of Union in 1707 for Scotland was the loss of its separate Parliament as it joined with England to form the Parliament of Great Britain. Question 13. How did the Industrial Revolution change the British economy? A. By emphasizing agricultural production. B. By reducing the importance of trade. C. By shifting from agrarian to industrial and manufacturing processes. D. By focusing on colonial expansion. Answer C. By shifting from agrarian to industrial and manufacturing processes. The Industrial Revolution fundamentally changed the British economy by moving it from an agrarian base to one dominated by industry and manufacturing. Question 14. Who was responsible for establishing the Church of England? A. Henry VIII. B. Elizabeth I. C. James I. D. Charles I. Answer A. Henry VIII. Henry VIII was responsible for establishing the Church of England after his split from the Catholic Church, primarily to secure annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. Question 15. What was the main reason for Henry Vaudois' break from the Catholic Church? A. To establish a new state religion. B. To marry Anne Boleyn. C. To centralize royal power. D. To reform the Church's practices. Answer: B. To marry Anne Boleyn. The main reason for Henry VIII's break from the Catholic Church was his desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, so he could marry Anne Boleyn. Question 16. Describe the significance of the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. A. It ended the American War of Independence. B. It marked the defeat of Napoleon by British and Allied forces. C. It was a decisive victory in the 100 Years' War. D. It initiated the start of the Industrial Revolution. Answer: B. It marked the defeat of Napoleon by British and Allied forces. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 was significant because it marked the final defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, ending his rule as Emperor of the French and leading to a period of peace in Europe. Question 17. Who was Queen Victoria's husband? A. Prince Albert. B. Prince Philip. C. King George VI. D. King Edward VII. Answer: A. Prince Albert. Queen Victoria's husband was Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. He was known for his advocacy of public and educational reforms. Question 18. What were the Corn Laws and why were they significant? A. Laws enforcing military service. B. Taxation laws on imported grain. C. Legislation protecting domestic agriculture. D. Acts regulating the wool trade. Answer: C. Legislation protecting domestic agriculture. The Corn Laws were significant because they imposed restrictions and tariffs on imported grain, aiming to protect domestic agriculture, but leading to widespread debate about free trade and protectionism. Question 19. In what year did women in the UK gain the right to vote at the same age as men? A. 1918. B. 1928. C. 1945. D. 1967. Answer: B. 1928. Women in the UK gained the right to vote at the same age as men in 1928, following years of campaigning by the suffragette movement. Question 20. What is the significance of the Habeas Corpus Act 1679? A. It formalised the British Empire's territorial claims. B. It established the Bank of England. C. It required a court order to detain a prisoner. D. It initiated the British constitutional monarchy. Answer: C. It required a court order to detain a prisoner. The Habeas Corpus Act 1679 was significant because it strengthened the right of individuals not to be detained unlawfully, requiring a court order to hold someone in custody, and thus safeguarding personal freedom. Question 21. Which British monarch signed the Bill of Rights in 1689? A. King Charles II. B. King James II. C. Queen Anne. D. King William III and Queen Mary II. Answer: D. King William III and Queen Mary II. They signed the Bill of Rights in 1689, which laid down limits on the powers of the Crown and set out the rights of Parliament and rules of freedom of speech in Parliament, the requirement for regular elections, and the right to petition the monarch without fear of retribution. Question 22. Explain the impact of the Black Death on England in the 14th century. A. It led to the War of the Roses. B. It caused significant loss of life, reducing the population by about 1/3. C. It initiated the English Renaissance. D. It resulted in England's loss of the 100 Years' War. Answer: B. It caused significant loss of life, reducing the population by about 1/3. The Black Death, bubonic plague, had a profound impact on England and Europe, leading to severe labour shortages and social upheavals. Question 23. What was the main cause of the Peasants' Revolt in 1381? A. The imposition of a new tax on the wealthy. B. Discontent with the Church's wealth. C. The introduction of the poll tax. D. A demand for the restoration of the monarchy. Answer: C. The introduction of the poll tax. The Peasants' Revolt was largely triggered by the imposition of a poll tax, which was seen as an unfair burden on the poorer sections of society. Question 24. Who was the first Prime Minister of Great Britain? A. Oliver Cromwell. B. Sir Robert Walpole. C. William Pitt the Younger. D. Sir Winston Churchill. Answer: B. Sir Robert Walpole. Often regarded as the de facto first Prime Minister of Great Britain, Sir Robert Walpole held office from 1721 to 1742, effectively the head of the government. Question 25. What was the main purpose of the Elizabethan Poor Law of 1601? A. To establish public schools. B. To provide pensions for the elderly. C. To organize the care of the poor. D. To regulate wages and prices. Answer: C. To organize the care of the poor. The Elizabethan Poor Law of 1601 established a system for the relief of the poor, which became the foundation of poor relief for centuries afterward. Question 26. Describe the impact of the Enclosure Acts on British agriculture. A. They decreased agricultural productivity. B. They facilitated the development of large-scale farming. C. They outlawed common farming practices. D. They promoted equal land distribution. Answer: B. They facilitated the development of large-scale farming. The Enclosure Acts allowed for the consolidation of common lands into individual plots that were privately owned, which significantly altered the landscape of British agriculture towards more efficient farming methods. Question 27. What was the outcome of the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805? A. French victory over the British. B. British naval supremacy was established. C. An armistice between Britain and France. D. The beginning of Napoleon's rule. Answer: B. British naval supremacy was established. The Battle of Trafalgar was a decisive victory for the British Navy, led by Admiral Nelson, which established British naval dominance and prevented Napoleon from invading Britain. Question 28. Who authored the influential work, The Wealth of Nations? A. John Locke. B. Adam Smith. C. Karl Marx. D. Thomas Hobbes. Answer: B. Adam Smith. The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, published in 1776, is considered the foundation of modern economic theory, advocating for free market economies. Question 29. What was the significance of the Great Exhibition of 1851? A. It marked the end of the British Empire. B. It was a showcase of Britain's industrial advancements and inventions. C. It initiated the First World War. D. It celebrated the signing of the Magna Carta. Answer B. It was a showcase of Britain's industrial advancements and inventions. The Great Exhibition of 1851, held in the Crystal Palace in London, displayed the wonders of industry and technology from around the world and symbolized the height of the Industrial Revolution. Question 30. In what year did the UK join the European Economic Community, EC? A. 1945, B. 1957, C. 1973, D. 1984. Answer C. 1973. The United Kingdom joined the European Economic Community, now the European Union, in 1973, marking a significant moment in its post-war foreign and economic policy. Question 31. What was the primary aim of the Social Reform Act of 1834? A. To abolish the monarchy. B. To reform the electoral system. C. To amend the poor laws and reduce the cost of looking after the poor. D. To establish universal health care. Answer C. To amend the poor laws and reduce the cost of looking after the poor. The Social Reform Act of 1834, also known as the Poor Law Amendment Act, aimed to reduce the cost of poor relief and encourage the poor to be self-sufficient. Question 32. Who was the British monarch during the American War of Independence? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. King George III. C. King Henry VIII. D. King Charles II. Answer B. King George III. King George III was the monarch during the American War of Independence, which saw the 13 colonies in North America fight for and gain independence from British rule. Question 33. Describe the main features of the Victorian era's social reform. A. Expansion of the British Empire. B. Introduction of modern democratic governance. C. Improvements in public health, education and workers' rights. D. Decrease in industrial production. Answer C. Improvements in public health, education and workers' rights. The Victorian era is noted for significant social reforms that improved public health, introduced compulsory education, and began addressing workers' rights and conditions. Question 34. What was the primary purpose of the Statute of Dublin in 1284? A. To declare English as the official language of Wales. B. To annex Wales into the Kingdom of England. C. To establish a separate Welsh Parliament. D. To confirm the independence of Wales. Answer B. To annex Wales into the Kingdom of England. The Statute of Dublin in 1284 provided the constitutional basis for the government of the Principality of Wales, effectively annexing it into England under Edward I. Question 35. Who was Edward Jenner, and what was his contribution to medicine? A. He discovered the circulation of blood. B. He developed the smallpox vaccine. C. He invented the stethoscope. D. He founded modern nursing. Answer B. He developed the smallpox vaccine. Edward Jenner's development of the smallpox vaccine in the late 18th century was a monumental contribution to medicine, laying the foundation for immunology. Question 36. In what year was the Battle of Hastings and who was the victor? A. 1066, William of Normandy. B. 1215, King John of England. C. 1415, Henry V of England. D. 1485, Henry Tudor. Answer: A. 1066, William of Normandy. The Battle of Hastings in 1066 was a decisive victory for William of Normandy, also known as William the Conqueror, marking the beginning of Norman rule in England. Question 37. Describe the main cause and outcome of the Jacobite rebellions. A. The desire to restore James I and his descendants to the throne of England, Scotland, and Ireland. B. A protest against the agricultural enclosures. C. A movement for independence in Scotland. D. A series of battles for control of the English crown. Answer: A. The desire to restore James II and his descendants to the throne of England, Scotland, and Ireland. The Jacobite rebellions were primarily caused by supporters of James II and his descendants aiming to restore them to the throne, leading to several armed conflicts, but ultimately failing to change the succession. Question 38. What was the role of Britain in the slave trade and its abolition? A. Britain pioneered the global slave trade. B. Britain played a minor role in the slave trade. C. Britain led the efforts to abolish the slave trade in the early 19th century. D. Britain was the last European country to abolish the slave trade. Answer: C. Britain led the efforts to abolish the slave trade in the early 19th century. Britain, initially a major participant in the slave trade, became a leader in the abolition movement, culminating in the Slave Trade Act of 1807, which made the trade illegal throughout the British Empire. Question 39. Who was the British monarch during the Crimean War? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. Queen Victoria. C. King Edward VII. D. King George V. Answer: B. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was the monarch during the Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, a conflict in which Britain allied with France, the Ottoman Empire, and Sardinia against Russia. Question 40. Describe the purpose and impact of the Education Act 1870. A. It established compulsory military service. B. It provided for universal adult suffrage. C. It laid the foundations for the modern state education system in England and Wales. D. It abolished child labour in factories. Answer: C. It laid the foundations for the modern state education system in England and Wales. The Education Act 1870, also known as the Forster Act, marked the beginning of state involvement in education, aiming to make elementary education available for all children. Question 41. What led to the formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland in 1801? A. The signing of the Magna Carta. B. The Acts of Union 1800. C. The victory in the Battle of Waterloo. D. The establishment of the Commonwealth. Answer: B. The Acts of Union 1800. These acts joined the Kingdom of Great Britain and the Kingdom of Ireland into a single state, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Question 42. Who was responsible for the laws of the Anglo-Saxon king, codified in the Domesday Book? A. Alfred the Great. B. Edward the Confessor. C. William the Conqueror. D. Henry II. Answer: C. William the Conqueror. The Domesday Book, completed in 1086, was commissioned by William the Conqueror to record the taxes owed throughout the kingdom. It was not, however, a codification of laws, but a survey of his new dominions. Question 43. Describe the significance of the Act of Settlements 1701. A. It established the Church of England. B. It regulated the succession to the English and Irish crowns. C. It ended the War of the Roses. D. It initiated the English Civil War. Answer. B. It regulated the succession to the English and Irish crowns. The Act of Settlement 1701 was significant because it ensured that the English throne would be inherited by Protestant descendants of James I, excluding Catholics from the succession. Question 44. What was the main effect of the Reform Act 1867 on British democracy? A. It abolished the monarchy. B. It significantly expanded the male electorate. C. It granted voting rights to women. D. It dissolved the British Empire. Answer. B. It significantly expanded the male electorate. The Reform Act 1867 was crucial in the development of British democracy as it doubled the electorate by extending voting rights to many urban working men, though it did not yet include women. Question 45. Who led the British government's response to the Irish potato famine? A. Sir Robert Peel. B. Queen Victoria. C. Benjamin Disraeli. D. Lord Palmerston. Answer. A. Sir Robert Peel. Sir Robert Peel, Prime Minister at the famine's onset, initiated relief efforts, including the repeal of the Corn Laws to lower grain prices, although his measures were seen as inadequate as the famine worsened. Question 46. Describe the primary objectives of the Beveridge Report. A. To outline a strategy for post-war reconstruction. B. To propose the establishment of a welfare state. C. To promote free trade. D. To recommend the abolition of the monarchy. Answer. B. To propose the establishment of a welfare state. The Beveridge Report, published during World War II, outlined a comprehensive social insurance program with the goal of eradicating want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Question 47. What was the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in 1415? A. It marked the beginning of the English Renaissance. B. It was a decisive victory for France in the 100 Years' War. C. It was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War. D. It resulted in the end of the Plantagenet dynasty. Answer. C. It was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War. The Battle of Agincourt, fought on St. Crispin's Day, is celebrated for the English longbowmen's role in securing a victory against a numerically superior French army. Question 48. Who was responsible for the founding of the British Museum? A. Sir Hans Sloane. B. Sir Isaac Newton. C. Charles Darwin. D. Henry VIII. Answer. A. Sir Hans Sloane. Sir Hans Sloane's bequest of his collection to the nation, upon his death in 1753, led to the founding of the British Museum, the first national public museum in the world. Question 49. What reforms were introduced by the Factory Acts during the 19th century? A. They limited the working hours for women and children. B. They abolished child labour. C. They established the Bank of England. D. They introduced income tax. Answer. A. They limited the working hours for women and children. The Factory Acts were a series of laws passed to improve conditions for workers in factories, notably by reducing the working hours for women and children, and later for all workers. Question 50. In what year did the Gunpowder Plot take place and who was targeted? A. 1605, King James I. B. 1649, King Charles I. C. 1666, the City of London. D. 1485, King Richard III. Answer: A. 1605, King James I. The Gunpowder Plot aimed to assassinate King James I and restore a Catholic monarch to the throne by blowing out the Houses of Parliament during the state opening. Question 51. Describe the impact of the Chartist movement on British politics. A. It led directly to the establishment of the Labour Party. B. It resulted in the immediate extension of voting rights to all men. C. It highlighted the need for political reform and influenced future changes. D. It was completely ignored and had no impact. Answer: C. It highlighted the need for political reform and influenced future changes. The Chartist movement, while not immediately successful in achieving all its aims, was significant in raising awareness about the need for electoral reform and laid the groundwork for future political changes. Question 52. What was the main cause of the English Reformation in the 16th century? A. The influence of the Renaissance. B. Political conflict between England and France. C. Henry VIII's desire for a male heir and conflict with the Pope. D. Economic crisis. Answer: C. Henry VIII's desire for a male heir and conflict with the Pope. The English Reformation began as a result of King Henry VIII's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, which the Pope refused, leading Henry to establish the Church of England with himself at its head. Question 53. Who was Britain's longest reigning monarch before Queen Elizabeth II? A. Queen Victoria. B. King George III. C. King Henry VIII. D. Queen Elizabeth I. Answer: A. Queen Victoria. Before Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Victoria was the longest reigning British monarch, serving from 1837 to 1901. Question 54. Describe the impact of the Great Fire of London on the city. A. It led to the immediate rebuilding of the city with modern infrastructure. B. It resulted in significant loss of life. C. It destroyed much of the medieval city, leading to modern urban planning and building regulations. D. It had little long-term effect on the city's development. Answer: C. It destroyed much of the medieval city, leading to modern urban planning and building regulations. The Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed a large part of the City of London, including St. Paul's Cathedral, leading to widespread rebuilding under new regulations that influenced the development of modern London. Question 55. What was the primary reason for the establishment of the National Health Service, NHS? A. To provide military support during World War II. B. To ensure that healthcare was available to all regardless of wealth. C. To create a private healthcare system. D. To consolidate all hospitals under government control. Answer: B. To ensure that healthcare was available to all regardless of wealth. The primary reason for establishing the National Health Service, NHS, in 1948 was to provide comprehensive healthcare services to all UK residents, free at the point of use, funded through taxation. Question 56. In what year was the Magna Carta reissued with significant amendments? A. 1066, B. 1215, C. 1225, D. 1297. Answer: C. 1225. The Magna Carta was originally issued in 1215 and was reissued with significant amendments in 1225, solidifying its position as a cornerstone of English constitutional and legal principles. Question 57. What was the main outcome of the Wars of the Roses? A. The establishment of the Tudor dynasty. B. The division of England into North and South. C. The end of the Plantagenet dynasty. D. Both A and C are correct. Answer D. Both A and C are correct. The Wars of the Roses concluded with the victory of Henry Tudor, Henry VII, which marked the end of the Plantagenet dynasty and the beginning of the Tudor dynasty. Question 58. Describe the impact of Winston Churchill's leadership during World War II. A. It led to the defeat of the British Empire. B. It inspired British resistance and contributed to the Allied victory. C. It resulted in Britain remaining neutral. D. It caused significant political instability in Britain. Answer: B. It inspired British resistance and contributed to the Allied victory. Winston Churchill's leadership during World War II was crucial. His speeches and policies inspired British resistance against Axis powers and played a significant role in leading the Allies to victory. Question 59. What led to the formation of the Labour Party in the UK? A. A desire to support the monarchy. B. The need for a political party representing the working class. C. The dissolution of the Liberal Party. D. A split within the Conservative Party. Answer: B. The need for a political party representing the working class. The Labour Party was formed in the early 20th century as a political representation of the labour unions and the working class, aiming to address social inequalities and advocate for workers' rights. Question 60. Who was responsible for the creation of the Royal Navy? A. Sir Francis Drake. B. Henry VIII. C. Elizabeth I. D. Oliver Cromwell. Answer: B. Henry VIII. King Henry VIII is credited with the establishment of the Royal Navy as a permanent professional fighting force, laying the foundations for England's maritime dominance. Question 61. Describe the main causes of the British Agricultural Revolution. A. Introduction of new crops from the Americas and advancements in agricultural techniques. B. The end of feudalism and the rise of industrial farming. C. Increased demand for wool for the textile industry. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. The British Agricultural Revolution was driven by the introduction of new crops, advancements in farming techniques, the end of feudalism, and increased demand for agricultural products, leading to significant increases in productivity and efficiency. Question 62. What was the significance of the Suez Crisis of 1956? A. It marked the beginning of the Cold War. B. It resulted in a major expansion of the British Empire. C. It highlighted the decline of British imperial power and the rise of nationalist movements in colonies. D. It led to the establishment of the European Union. Answer C. It highlighted the decline of British imperial power and the rise of nationalist movements in colonies. The Suez Crisis was a diplomatic and military conflict that demonstrated the limitations of British power in the post-war period, leading to a re-evaluation of its role on the world stage. Question 63. Who was the first British astronaut to visit the International Space Station? A. Tim Peake. B. Helen Sharman. C. Michael Foale. D. Piers Sellers. Answer A. Tim Peake. Tim Peake became the first British astronaut to visit the International Space Station in 2015, conducting experiments and engaging in educational outreach. Question 64. What was the impact of the Winter of Discontent on British politics? A. It led to the resurgence of the Labour Party. B. It resulted in significant public support for the monarchy. C. It precipitated the election of Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative Party in 1979. D. It had little effect on subsequent elections. Answer C. It precipitated the election of Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative Party in 1979. The Winter of Discontent, characterized by widespread strikes and public sector unrest, contributed to the defeat of the Labour Party and the rise of Thatcherism. Question 65. Describe the significance of the Falklands War for the UK. A. It led to the immediate resignation of Margaret Thatcher. B. It significantly weakened the British military. C. It boosted national pride and Margaret Thatcher's popularity. D. It resulted in the UK ceding the Falkland Islands to Argentina. Answer C. It boosted national pride and Margaret Thatcher's popularity. The Falklands War in 1982 was a conflict between the UK and Argentina over the Falkland Islands, resulting in a British victory that enhanced Thatcher's standing and national pride. Question 66. What was the main outcome of the Act of Union 1800 for Ireland? A. Ireland gained independence from Britain. B. It merged the Kingdom of Ireland with the Kingdom of Great Britain to form the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. C. It established the Republic of Ireland. D. It led to the immediate end of the Irish famine. Answer B. It merged the Kingdom of Ireland with the Kingdom of Great Britain to form the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. The Act of Union 1800 was significant in creating a single political entity under the British Crown, though it also set the stage for future conflicts and the quest for Irish independence. Question 67. Who was responsible for the Marconi scandal? A. David Lloyd George. B. Winston Churchill. C. Neville Chamberlain. D. Herbert Henry Asquith. Answer A. David Lloyd George. The Marconi scandal, involving insider trading accusations against government ministers who profited from advanced knowledge of wireless telegraphy contracts, notably implicated David Lloyd George, then Chancellor of the Exchequer. Question 68. What was the primary cause of the English Bill of Rights in 1689? A. To establish England as a republic. B. To outline and limit the powers of the Crown and establish rights of Parliament and individuals. C. To end the War of the Roses. D. To officially start the British Empire. Answer B. To outline and limit the powers of the Crown and establish rights of Parliament and individuals. The English Bill of Rights was a response to the conflicts and abuses of power by monarchs, solidifying the constitutional monarchy and setting out the rights of Parliament and principles of individual liberty. Question 69. Describe the main objectives of the suffragette movement in the early 20th century. A. To promote women's education. B. To secure voting rights for women. C. To abolish the monarchy. D. To end the British Empire. Answer. B. To secure voting rights for women. The suffragette movement was primarily focused on securing the right to vote for women, engaging in a range of activism and protest to achieve this goal. Question 70. What was the impact of the partition of India on British colonial policy? A. It led to the expansion of the British Empire in Asia. B. It had no significant impact on British colonial policy. C. It marked the beginning of the end of the British Empire, leading to increased decolonization. D. It resulted in the UK strengthening its control over remaining colonies. Answer. C. It marked the beginning of the end of the British Empire, leading to increased decolonization. The partition of India in 1947 and the independence of India and Pakistan represented a significant shift in British colonial policy, signalling the start of a broader process of decolonization. Question 71. Who was the first British monarch of the House of Windsor? A. Queen Victoria. B. King George V. C. King Edward VII. D. Queen Elizabeth II. Answer. B. King George V. King George V was the first monarch of the House of Windsor, having changed the family name from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha in 1917 due to anti-German sentiment during World War I. Question 72. Describe the significance of the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. A. It was a pivotal English victory in the 100 Years' War. B. It marked the independence of Wales from England. C. It was a significant Scottish victory in the First War of Scottish Independence. D. It led to the unification of England and Scotland under one crown. Answer. C. It was a significant Scottish victory in the First War of Scottish Independence. The Battle of Bannockburn, led by Robert the Bruce, was a decisive victory for Scotland, affirming its independence from England. Question 73. What was the main cause of the formation of the United Kingdom? A. The signing of the Magna Carta. B. The unification of England and Scotland under the Acts of Union 1707. C. The victory of the English in the Battle of Hastings. D. The establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations. Answer. B. The unification of England and Scotland under the Acts of Union 1707. This legislative agreement led to the creation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, uniting the two previously independent kingdoms under a single government. Question 74. Who was the Iron Lady and what was her impact on UK politics? A. Queen Elizabeth II, who stabilized the monarchy during turbulent times. B. Margaret Thatcher, the first female Prime Minister who implemented significant economic reforms. C. Theresa May, known for her Brexit negotiations. D. Angela Merkel, for her influence on UK-EU relations. Answer. B. Margaret Thatcher, the first female Prime Minister who implemented significant economic reforms. Margaret Thatcher known as the Iron Lady for her leadership style and political philosophy, had a profound impact on UK politics, notably for her neoliberal economic policies and role in ending the Cold War. Question 75. What was the primary purpose of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle? A. To record the genealogies of Anglo-Saxon kings. B. To document the history of the Anglo-Saxons and their settlement in England. C. To codify the laws of England. D. To outline the rules of monastic life. Answer. B. To document the history of the Anglo-Saxons and their settlement in England. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle is a collection of annals in Old English chronicling the history of the Anglo-Saxons, making it an invaluable historical document for understanding early English history. Question 76. Describe the impact of the plague on London in 1665. A. It led to the establishment of the British National Health Service. B. It resulted in significant population loss and prompted improvements in public health and sanitation. C. It initiated the English Civil War. D. It had minimal impact due to advanced medical knowledge. Answer. B. It resulted in significant population loss and prompted improvements in public health and sanitation. The Great Plague of London in 1665 was one of the last major outbreaks of the bubonic plague in England, leading to widespread death and subsequently to changes in public health practices and urban development. Question 77. What led to the development of the British Constitution? A. A single document drafted in the early 20th century. B. A series of landmark legal documents, court decisions, and conventions. C. The Magna Carta alone. D. The decree of a monarch in the medieval period. Answer. B. A series of landmark legal documents, court decisions, and conventions. The British Constitution is not codified in a single document, but has developed over time through important legal texts like the Magna Carta, statutes, judicial decisions, and political conventions. Question 78. Who was responsible for the establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations? A. Winston Churchill. B. Queen Elizabeth II. C. King George VI. D. Clement Attlee. Answer. C. King George VI. The Commonwealth of Nations was established through the London Declaration in 1949 during the reign of King George VI, transitioning from the British Empire to a free association of independent member states. Question 79. Describe the significance of the Battle of Somme in World War I. A. It marked the end of World War I. B. It was one of the largest battles of World War I, resulting in significant casualties and symbolizing the horrors of trench warfare. C. It resulted in a decisive victory for the Central Powers. D. It led to the immediate fall of the Russian Empire. Answer. B. It was one of the largest battles of World War I, resulting in significant casualties and symbolizing the horrors of trench warfare. The Battle of the Somme, fought in 1916, is remembered for its heavy losses and limited territorial gains, highlighting the stalemate and devastation of the war. Question 80. What was the main cause of the decline of the British Empire post-World War II? A. The rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. B. Economic difficulties and the growth of nationalist movements in colonial territories. C. The decision of the British government to focus solely on domestic issues. D. The loss of the American colonies in the 18th century. Answer B. Economic difficulties and the growth of nationalist movements in colonial territories. After World War II, the British Empire faced significant financial challenges and a wave of independence movements across its colonies, leading to a gradual decline in British imperial power and the decolonization process. Question 81. Who was the British Prime Minister during the Suez Crisis? A. Anthony Eden. B. Harold Macmillan. C. Winston Churchill. D. Clement Attlee. Answer A. Anthony Eden. Anthony Eden was the British Prime Minister during the Suez Crisis in 1956, a pivotal event that highlighted the limits of Britain's post-war power and led to his resignation. Question 82. Describe the impact of the Reform Act of 1832 on the electoral system. A. It introduced proportional representation. B. It abolished the House of Lords. C. It extended the vote to working-class men. D. It redistributed seats in the House of Commons and extended the franchise. Answer D. It redistributed seats in the House of Commons and extended the franchise. The Reform Act of 1832 made significant changes to the British electoral system by redistributing seats to better represent urban areas and extending the franchise to more men, though not yet to the working class or women. Question 83. What was the significance of the five members' case in 1642? A. It led to the establishment of the Bank of England. B. It was a landmark legal case that expanded women's rights. C. It resulted in the abolition of the monarchy. D. It was an attempt by King Charles I to arrest members of Parliament, sparking the English Civil War. Answer D. It was an attempt by King Charles I to arrest members of Parliament, sparking the English Civil War. The five members' case is significant as it represented a direct challenge to parliamentary authority by the monarch and contributed to the outbreak of the Civil War. Question 84. Who was the first female Member of Parliament in the UK? A. Margaret Thatcher. B. Constance Mark-Elix. C. Nancy Astor. D. Barbara Castle. Answer C. Nancy Astor. Nancy Astor became the first female Member of Parliament to take a seat in the House of Commons in 1919, representing the Conservative Party. Question 85. Describe the main causes and outcomes of the Boer War. A. The war was fought over control of colonies in Asia, resulting in British victory. B. It was a conflict between British settlers and native African tribes over land rights. C. The war was primarily over control of gold and diamond resources in South Africa, resulting in British victory, but with significant costs. D. It was a religious conflict between Christian missionaries and indigenous African religions. Answer C. The war was primarily over control of gold and diamond resources in South Africa, resulting in British victory, but with significant costs. The Boer War, 1899 to 1902, highlighted the challenges of empire and led to the eventual formation of the Union of South Africa. Question 86. What was the primary goal of the British East India Company? A. To spread Christianity in Asia. B. To conduct archaeological excavations in India. C. To establish diplomatic relations with Asian countries. D. To pursue trade monopolies in spices, cotton, silk, and other goods in India and beyond. Answer: D. To pursue trade monopolies in spices, cotton, silk, and other goods in India and beyond. The British East India Company was established to expand British trade in the East Indies and India, eventually playing a key role in British imperialism in the region. Question 87. Describe the impact of the Glorious Revolution on the monarchy. A. It abolished the monarchy in favour of a republic. B. It solidified the power of the monarchy over Parliament. C. It established the constitutional monarchy, limiting the powers of the monarch. D. It led to the immediate independence of British colonies. Answer: C. It established the constitutional monarchy, limiting the powers of the monarch. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 led to the overthrow of King James II in favour of William and Mary, marking a turning point towards constitutional monarchy with the signing of the Bill of Rights 1689. Question 88. What was the main cause of the Opium Wars between Britain and China? A. Religious differences between Britain and China. B. British attempts to impose parliamentary democracy in China. C. Disputes over the sovereignty of Hong Kong. D. Chinese restrictions on opium trade imposed by Britain. Answer: D. Chinese restrictions on opium trade imposed by Britain. The Opium Wars in the mid-19th century were primarily caused by conflicts over trade, particularly China's attempts to restrict the British trade in opium, leading to military confrontations and the eventual cession of Hong Kong to Britain. Question 89. Who was responsible for the enclosures in the 18th and 19th centuries? A. The British Parliament through a series of enclosure acts. B. Independent farmers seeking to improve agricultural efficiency. C. The monarchy as part of a strategy to increase royal lands. D. Foreign investors interested in British agricultural land. Answer: A. The British Parliament through a series of enclosure acts. The enclosures were largely driven by parliamentary acts that allowed for the consolidation of common lands into privately owned plots, dramatically transforming the landscape and society of rural England. Question 90. Describe the significance of the Tolpuddle martyrs in labour history. A. They were a group of lords who advocated for workers' rights. B. They were early advocates for the abolition of the slave trade. C. They were British soldiers who mutinied over conditions in the army. D. They were agricultural workers who were arrested and transported for forming a trade union. Answer: D. They were agricultural workers who were arrested and transported for forming a trade union. The Tolpuddle martyrs case in 1834 became a significant moment in labour history, symbolising the struggle for the right to form trade unions and collective bargaining in the UK.